What up, guys? So today we got a question from Dan, who's an Ultra Heavyweight Jiu-Jitsu competitor, and he's also a blue belt, and he's also feeling very stuck in his Jiu-Jitsu training right now. He says that in the gym, when he rolls with the white belts and some of the blue belts, but all the white belts, he says he rarely feels threatened. He's able to submit all of them with all kinds of stuff, and they rarely submit him. But he says when he rolls with most of the blue belts, and any of the purples and up, he says they just absolutely wreck him. And so he's looking at, one, some perspectives on how to get the most from his training, but also how to bridge that gap from the level that he's at to some of these higher blue belts and purple belts and so forth. And he's looking for some perspectives from the Chewster. So bro, thanks for the question. So check it out. You're looking at this kind of as a bad thing. You're actually in probably one of the most favorable positions to be in for rapid skill growth. I'll explain that in a second. But first, the stuck part, right? You're worried about being stuck in your jiu-jitsu training. I don't know this for certain, but I have a hunch based upon how you explained it, because you said you're never in any danger with the lower belts or anything like that. I have a hunch that you're probably doing the same thing all the time. And this is what I have this conversation a lot of times with my students that'll tell me something similar. They feel stuck, they feel stagnant in their game. And after asking them a few questions, typically that's what it comes down to. They're just doing the same thing over and over again. So of course, you're gonna get very stagnant, complacent. You're doing the same damn thing all the time. So you've got to shake things up a little bit. You got to do something different. And the reason why this position that you're in is so good for rapid skill growth is because now you're a blue belt and your skill has gotten decent enough where you now have a whole crop of people that you can just test stuff out on, right? This is why, again, I call this the buffet belt, because, it's like all of a sudden you're a teenager and you've got the car keys, right? And you can start to explore everything and you have this newfound freedom. Now, obviously this didn't just magically happen at blue belt, but you have now acquired enough skill to where when you roll with these less experienced people, you could just play around a little bit, right? And that's what you should use them for. This is what every high level person that I know of, right? This is what they do a lot of times, right? Unless they're really getting ready for a competition, typically when they're rolling with the less experienced people, they're using those less experienced people to get active repetitions, if you will, right? So instead of just drilling with a passive opponent, you have a move in your head and now you're doing it against people that, for the most part won't be able to stop it, or they might be able to stop it if you don't do it well, but they basically let you do it on someone with live resistance. And this is very effective for getting better at training, right? And acquiring real skill that you can use against someone. And so what I would tell you to do, just an idea to chew on, of course, Dan, is that the next time you go to the gym, you should have a set of techniques that you're gonna use on those white belts that are either, maybe it's a continuation of a position that you're pretty good at, but maybe a new technique. Like maybe you have this really good submission from mount, but maybe you go to mount and you go for the submission and you let them escape and then you see what you can chain together with it. Or maybe, I don't know, you're a big guy, you're probably not that favorable, or you probably don't enjoy being on your back that much. You could, I don't know, but statistics would tell me that you probably don't like to play off your back that much as an ultra heavyweight. So that would be a great chance. Go play off your back, go pick half guard, maybe butterfly guard. Those are generally decent positions for big fellas. Go out there and when you're rolling with all those white belts, instead of just smashing them and crushing them, play your bottom position, play those weak sides. Do stuff that's gonna challenge you, right? I get submitted all the time by lower belts because I'm challenging myself. I'm trying to put myself in weird positions. I'll put myself in, leg lock situations and let people get grips on stuff just so I can escape out of them. And sometimes I get caught, And so again, that's a way to continuously get that rapid growth because you have those people to play with. And again, it'll give them a chance to actually engage and do stuff, but also too, you're getting so much more from that training by not just doing the same old stuff. Okay. Now, the other side to it is the reason why I say that you're in a good favorable spot is that when you start developing these techniques with the lower belts, you'll find that all of a sudden it starts to work its way in closer towards your A game, right? You got your B game and your A game. The B game, all of a sudden it starts to get good enough where you start to use it against people that are more experienced, that are better, right? And what it ends up happening, it's almost like, if you've ever watched videos of blacksmiths working, right? It's like they have the big rod, the big piece of metal, whatever they're making. I have friends that are blacksmiths with horseshoes and stuff like that, but maybe you have seen people do it with weapons and stuff like that, but they have this big chunk of metal, and then all of a sudden they start honing it and sharpening it and making it, giving it form, right? Well, you can think of it in that sense where with the white belts, it's like you're getting this big chunk of metal hot. You've got some basic form there going, and then with the higher belts, you're just chinking away and you're really refining it, right? So you might have a technique that's working okay and the guts of it are there, but there's some adjustments and some things that need to be made. Well, when you go with the higher belts, they're going to keep you honest, because if you don't do it correctly, or if you don't do it well, they're going to make you pay, right? They're going to make you pay for those mistakes. And so that's where you'll get that next level learning. And so this is great. You have the people that you can work with new stuff, and then you have the people that are higher than you that will keep you sharp and that will make your technique sharper. That is a great place to be as far as your jiu-jitsu growth. So anyway, that's the idea to chew on, Dan. Good luck to you with your training, bro. Pick something to focus on the next time you're training with those less experienced people, and I'll talk to you guys next time.